What's going on, everybody? Today marks the first day in a full week of tactics. Nothing but tactics here on the channel. And today's tactic is actually a IRL one that I am kind of basing off of what a manager does. Now, this tactic was actually requested by a couple of you as well. So I was like, you know what? I'm interested in doing this. Why not give it a go? And we created something that is absolutely fantastic. Today we are going with a Jose Luis Mendilibar tactic with Olympiacos. Now, for those of you that may not know, Jose Luis Mendilibar is the manager of Olympiacos. He was also the former manager of Sevilla. Last season, he ended up guiding them to another Europa League win. This year, got off to a rocky start. He ended up getting sacked, and he landed the job at Olympiacos. He then took Olympiacos all the way to the final of the Europa Conference League, and they won the first continental trophy for Greek club football, which is absolutely incredible. And he did it basically with a, I guess, not identical, but pretty similar version of his 4-2-3-1 that he used with Sevilla. Now, there's three things that I noticed from his tactics that are pretty apparent wherever he may be managing. He likes to be aggressive. He likes everyone to get involved with the play, and his front four are absolutely integral to the success of how the team and tactic does. Which in that final we saw how important that front four was, especially Ayoub El-Kaabi, who ended up being the Golden Boot winner of the Europa Conference League. Now, if you would like to give today's tactic a go, I'll be linking my Discord down below in the description. That is where you guys are going to be able to download the tactic from within the download section of the Discord. So now, I guess without further ado, let's get into the results and some highlights and see how this tactic performs. Alright, so in Greece, they end up splitting the league into two kind of midway through, and it's a championship group and then like a relegation type group. A couple of leagues throughout Europe do that. I know Austria does, I know Denmark does as well. But it kind of did make our season a little bit more tricky. And it was tricky for them in reality as well, because they didn't win their own league, yet they won the Conference League. They also didn't win the Greek Cup. We ended up winning the league. We only lost 2 games. There were times where I almost went invincible because I tested this multiple times, and every single time we would always lose at least 1 game because of how strong the championship group is, but we consistently won the league every single time. This time, 24 games won, 2 games lost. But overall, 31 wins, 2 draws, and 3 losses once it was kind of all the way to the finish line. And like I said, Olympiacos also couldn't win the Greek Cup. We also ended up winning the Greek Cup over Tripoli. In this test, we won it, I think, 7 out of 10 times. When it comes to continental football, the tactic was too good to get us into the Conference League, so we kept on getting into the Europa League. And this was one of our furthest runs within the Europa League. We got to the quarterfinal before getting knocked out by SC Freiburg. And one thing that I found pretty interesting was that we were basically on par with what Liverpool was doing in the Europa League, which they ended up being the eventual losers to PSG because PSG dropped down. But we had the same amount of goals as Liverpool, which is absolutely incredible. And that translated to the league as well. We absolutely smoked everyone goal-wise within the league. We were very, very good when it came to dribbles. Also had the most clean sheets in the league, as well as the fewest conceded by a fine margin, just like with goals. We had 16 less goals conceded than everyone else, so we were the top dog, and rightfully so. When it came to the player performances, it was absolutely ridiculous. We had 4 players in for most goals, including the Golden Boot winner, 3 players in for most assists, with our wingbacks doing absolutely fantastic right there, 3 players in there for most key passes. The top player for most tackles won. We also had another in there, both of them once again being our wingbacks. 2 in for most dribbles made. We had the most clean sheets, and we also had the fewest conceded. Which, when looking at things and how the players did overall in all competitions, we did absolutely fantastic. It was perfect total team football on the pitch, and numbers-wise, we had plenty of double-digit goal scorers. We had 6 double-digit goal scorers. Ayoub El-Kaabi having 26, Andre Horto at 21, Costas Fortunas with 18, Podence with 16, Karma with 11, and Fran Navarro with 10. And assist-wise, we had 4 players with double-digit assists, but plenty of players, as we can see, contributing in the assist column. Francis Ortega with 21, Rodney with 19, Fortunas with 17, and Andre Horta with 13. So we absolutely dominated the domestic competition. We did pretty well within Europe as well, getting to the quarterfinal of the Europa League. How is the tactic lined up, and how does it exactly help us get those achievements? So here we are with the 4-2-3-1. It's got an advanced forward up top, a winger on the left, an inside forward on the right, an attacking midfielder at number 10, a defensive midfielder with a deep line playmaker in defensive midfield, a fullback on the left, a wingback on the right, 2 ball-playing defenders, and a sweeper keeper. Now, I tried to get this tactic basically as close to Mendilibar's as possible. I did put my own little flair to it as well with some of the roles, but I mean, as we can tell, overall, it did absolutely fantastic. Borderline perfect, but it definitely is incredible. So in build-up, how does it look? We've got the advanced forward who moves into channel, so he will be all across this box. We've got the winger supplying the width out wide. Reason being is because I instruct the fullback to sit a bit more narrow when they have the ball. The defense midfielder goes a little bit up because I imply them to take more risks. The attacking midfielder kind of does whatever they please. The inside forward is going to be cutting inside. The wing back is on attack, so he's flying forward. We got that deep line playmaker as well. Then these ball playing defenders come up, and it plays a little bit something like this a little bit. It is pretty unique, but it plays very, very well. But a majority of the time, you will probably see it actually end up looking a bit something like this. The wingback on attack is going to be amazing. The fullback is also going to be incredible because the fullback and the winger are interchangeable. So the winger sometimes will be down here, fullback will be here, or even the attacking midfielder will drop off. It'll be something like this, or even something like that. So everything is kind of interchangeable aside from the ball playing defenders and the advanced forward on attack. Now in defense, how does it act in defense? Everyone kind of sags off just a tiny bit, dropping down. The defense midfielder and deep line playmaker come back, as does the inside forward and the winger. The attacking midfielder will go right around here, same with the advanced forward. They'll either defend in a 4-4-2 or they will defend in a 4-4-1-1 so that they can go on the counter immediately. And the winger will be very important in the counter, as will the inside forward and the wingback on attack. Overall, this tactic is absolutely fantastic to utilize and very, very fun to play and watch within the match engine. Alright, so now we're going to take a look at a few highlights. If you're new to the channel, what I end up doing is having 2 matches on 2D highlights and 1 on the 3D match engine so that we can kind of highlight everything overall. You get that oversight, the bird's eye view of what the tactic can do in the 2D match engine, and then in the 3D match engine you get to see absolute dominance within those highlights. Alright, so the first match I'm going to be showing you guys is a 3-0 win by Olympiacos over AEK Athens within league play. Within this match, we're going to be highlighting Ayub El-Kabi as well as our number 10, which in this match was Jovan Cabral because Costas Fortunas ended up getting injured. He had to come on for him. So we're highlighting that striker and that number 10 within this match. Alright, so that first goal from El-Kabi, absolutely fantastic, great team play, especially finding Andre Horta out wide. That second goal was due to the set piece tactics that I utilize. Do those goals happen a whole bunch? No, but when they do happen because of set pieces like the ones that I use, which I have a whole video dedicated to, so I'll be linking that video down below in the description if you guys would like to check that out. Then that third goal, just absolutely fantastic team play once again, and it being finished off once again by Mr. Jovan Cabral. Now this next match, which is once again in the 2D match engine, is a game between Olympiacos and Marseille within the Europa League. This was a round of 16 matchup in the first leg, where we ended up beating them by a score 2-1. And in this match, once again, we're going to be highlighting Mr. Ayoub Al-Kabi as well as Daniel Podence. Now, one thing that I'm taking away from these highlights, and I hope you guys are too, is how dominant they look within this 4-2-3-1, especially the striker. The striker is absolutely just balling out with this tactic, which, as we all know, Ayoub did in reality as well, winning that golden boot in the Europa Conference League. Now we're on to that final highlight where we are having Olympiacos against PAOK within league play. We end up beating them by a score of 3-0. Doing absolutely fantastic once again. So there we have it. Highlight wise, one thing that I've noticed, the opponent cannot cope with how potent the attack is. No matter who is supplying the passes, it is going to be very hard for your opponent to not concede goals against this tactic. But now that we've gone over all that, let's go ahead, hop into the FM side of things and cover what this tactic has to offer and go over those player instructions. So the tactic file that you're going to be looking for in the download section of the Discord is Gormy's 4-2-3-1 Mendilibar Madness. We've got an advanced forward on attack up top. The left winger is a winger on attack. The attacking midfielder is an attacking midfielder on attack. The inside forward on the right wing is on support. You have a defensive midfielder on support with a deep line playmaker on support, both in those defensive midfield areas. You have a fullback on support at left back, wing back on attack at right back, two ball playing defenders on defend, and a sweeper keeper on defend. The advanced forward on attack is left as is. The winger on attack has crosses aimed at center and shoot more often. The attacking midfielder on attack has crosses aimed at center, roam from position, move into channels, and tackle harder. The inside forward on support has crosses aimed at center and shoot more often. The defensive midfielder on support has take more risks, shoot less often, and tackle harder. That deep line playmaker on support has tackle harder. The fullback on support has cross more often, crosses aimed at center, sit narrower, and tackle harder. The wingback on attack has cross more often, crosses aimed at center, and tackle harder. Both ball playing defenders were left as is, and that sweeper keeper on defend was also left untouched with no changes made. Now when it comes to the mentality played with this tactic, I have it on balanced. However, you can definitely use it with positive or attacking. The attacking one will definitely be with whatever scenario may arise. If you need a goal late, that is when you switch to attacking, but I definitely would suggest just switching between balanced and positive. Unless you're an elite level team, then definitely feel free to go attacking. Now when we're in possession of the ball, we have fairly narrow attacking width. We play out from the defense, work the ball into the box and use low crosses in the final third, standard passing directness, and slightly higher tempo. When we're in transition, we counter press and counter and distribute to the fullbacks and center backs. And when out of possession, we have a high press line of engagement, a higher defensive line, and more often trigger press. Now, one thing that I do want to note within the kind of Mendilibar type of tactic is he loves having a high line, either higher or much higher. I've tried it with much higher, didn't really like it, didn't do as well. So I stuck with the higher defensive line. However, if you want to instruct your defensive line to step up more, definitely feel free to do so. It'll still perform pretty well, but I do suggest leaving it like this with the high press and the higher defensive line. Now, when it comes to the level of ability that your side kind of needs to have to be able to play this style of football the Mendilibar way, I would definitely think that basically anyone and everyone can use this style of tactic. I mean, it helped them absolutely dominate, helped them be on par goal-wise with a club like Liverpool, which, as we all know, talent-wise is much, much better. But this tactic, absolutely fantastic. I think that you can use it with an elite side, mid-table, or even relegation threatened type of club. However, when it comes to those tweaks and changes to the tactics, I already went over one of them in regards to the line of engagement for the defense, but there is one more change that I would suggest making, and this is down to preference, and that is the wing back on attack and the inside forward on support. If you're wanting your wing back to be a little bit safer and a little bit more stay at home, switch it to on support, and then you switch that inside forward to on attack. Let the inside forward do more of the attacking duty than the wing back on attack, even though, as we saw from the numbers, Rodney did absolutely fantastic with supplying the ball and being a big time assist guy, especially within the league, leading the way. So there we have it. I hope you guys did enjoy today's video. I really enjoyed doing this IRL type style of tactics, so we're going to be doing more of them here on the channel in the near future. If you wish to give this tactic a go, I'll be linking my Discord once again down below in the description. That is where you're going to be able to download the tactic from in the download section of the Discord. But if you have enjoyed today's video, please feel free to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. Subscribing is 100% free, so why not hit that sub button. Right now on screen, I'll be popping up my most recent tactic, which was a 4-2-3-1 with Fenerbahce that is absolutely elite, so definitely make sure to check that out. But until next time, everyone, have a good one. Bye-bye.